What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. We are indeed uploading a video on the main channel once again, and I'm in a new Lincoln Navigator today. It's the 2025 fully redesigned, but this video is not about a fully redesigned Lincoln Navigator. It's about what's been going on. I mean, if you've been following along on the personal channel, you kind of know what's been going on, but not everyone follows that channel. So today's video, we're going to do I guess a big update, because to be honest, I don't want to be a downer, but to be honest, there hasn't been much going on, not of the good and the fun stuff. There's been a lot in my personal life, you know, my dad passed away and so on, but we finally have a new upload on the channel. Welcome back. All right, so we're back at the crib. We went from sunshine to this, just rain and yeah, boring weather. And that is the obligatory weather report or update. Now, it is nutty that I've been in this place now coming up on almost a year and a half. I moved in December 2023, and we're coming up on May here soon, 2025. It's just crazy how time flies, and it's scary. I'm actually starting to feel a little old here. You know, since we spoke last, I've gotten readers. I mean, like, readers. I never needed that before. That's insane. And like, since time is moving so quickly nowadays, it's starting to make me feel a little older. Although I'm extremely young and still immature at heart, which is what matters. But it is true what they say. The older you get, the quicker time flies. Throw some trash away and get into the garage. The Beamer is not mine. Right off the bat, that is my neighbor's car. But so this video is gonna be more of an update video. I have other videos coming right after this one here, but since I've been gone for so long, I figured we'd do a quick little update here in the garage. And this is what's left in the garage currently. It's the RS7. And I did a video, I don't know how many months ago, this is probably like 5 months ago, that the S65 was finally sold, because it technically was to like 95% certainty. Then the guy that was gonna buy that car, he actually backed out. So then obviously I had to go try to find someone else. And long story short, the car did end up selling about 2 months ago. Now, it wasn't picked up until probably a month after that. And that was a Cadillac dealership in Virginia who ended up buying it, oddly enough. And I think it's still for sale for anyone that's interested. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to double check that while I'm editing here. I'll throw up something, and if it is. Kind of crappy lighting in here, there we go. So yeah, the RS7 is the only car that I have in the garage, and currently I have a lot of space. Technically, this is just my lane here. And then, yeah. So the RS7, just quickly on that, it has like almost 92,000 miles now, and it's been running great. Now, one problem that I do have with it though, and I noticed this the last time that we did an oil change. The guy that does my oil changes is Vince at AutoVlog. He used to be an Audi tech at an Audi dealership here in Pittsburgh. And then he took over AutoVlog. So anyhow, he does the service. I mean, he's basically an Audi technician. And when he did it, he noticed, like, dude, your car's leaking oil. And I mean, that's not something you want to hear for a car that has some miles on it, and it's a performance car, and it's a German car. But anyhow, the service that was done prior to him doing this oil change was the oil screen recall, and that was done at an Audi dealership. And that recall is, it's a pretty big job. Like, you have to take the top part of the engine, and then the oil screen is located in between, like in the turbo somewhere. And you know, the car was gone for like, I don't know, like 2 days. So anyhow, I get it back. They've done an oil change. They did the oil screen recall, and everything was great. And then I started noticing that, well, not right away, but months later, when I put a couple thousand miles on the car, there was getting low oil light popping up. And this was during the winter. And I'm thinking maybe it's just temperature related. It's nothing. So I filled up with some oil, then the light came back on again. So long story short, I filled up with like a quart of oil. So then it was time for the next oil change. And that's when Vince told me, like, hey, your car's leaking oil. Like, the catch pan underneath was soaked. So it's a slow drip. It's not like I have a light on in the car now or anything, but it's a slow drip. All right, so I'm in the middle of editing here, and the clip that you just saw, I'm noticing that I'm not explaining this very well. Like I said earlier, Vince is the one that services my car, and he's never, ever noticed an oil leak. So I do an oil change on this car every 5,000 miles. So I timed this recall, about 5,000 miles after Vince had done the last oil change, because I know during this recall, they do an oil change. So technically it's free. And it was a few thousand miles after that recall that I noticed the low oil light come on. And like, I haven't even been paying attention. It's not like I've noticed that the car, leaked oil, and I'm looking at the garage floor, because it's such an old garage floor, there's like stains everywhere. So I wasn't even thinking about that. So I wanted to jump on here while I'm editing and kind of clarify a little bit. Vince's point was that every time that I've worked on your car, I've never noticed an oil leak at all until after it came back now from you doing this recall. And he advised me to call them and be like, hey, it seems like maybe something happened when you guys did the recall, maybe like an O-ring or some kind of seal, or I don't know if it's a gasket or whatever it is. And immediately they get very defensive and said, like, that's probably not us. Mistakes can happen. It might have been us, but you can, drop it off, and we'll have to take everything apart and check and see. And if it's not us, then the bill's on you. And that gets me a little nervous because, I'm not there when they're doing it. I'm not seeing exactly what they're doing. They could be saying anything and being like, this is definitely not our fault. And then they put a bunch of hours into it. And then they just charge me a bill for fixing whatever the problem is. So that's kind of what I'm dealing with now with the R7. I mean, it's running fine, besides having a, very slow drip oil leak. So that's definitely something I'm gonna have to deal with, and yeah, just drop it off, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'll have Vince look at it. Maybe that will be cheaper. I don't know. Because I doubt that I drop it off to the dealership and they tell me, oh, everything was our fault after this big job. Like, I don't know. One other thing is that the actuators, I'm thinking it's the actuators that are broke, because I can't close the valves anymore. So the valves are always open, which they usually always are at all times. But if you go on a road trip, it gets annoying because it's a massive drone around like $2,000, which is usually where you're at when you're going like 75, 80 miles an hour. But that should be a pretty simple fix. But other than that, the car is running good, although it's leaking oil. But with all that being said, that's not obviously the reason that I've been gone. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, and also if you've been following the videos on my personal channel, my dad did pass away at the end of January. And it's just been a bit of a crazy time lately, just personally and mentally, and just everything that's been going on. Like, when the mental part is affected, everything else gets affected, the channel, videos, finances, everything. So I just haven't been in a good space. And I've mentioned this in videos before, and I hate making videos like this. This is the last time that I'm talking about this, and that I want to make a video about my personal stuff. You know what I mean? I just want to make videos about cars, have fun on this channel, and then, on the personal channel, it's more just like other random stuff. But I feel that I have to, update, because this is still what I do for a living. And, I get messages all the time like, hey, where's the videos and stuff. And, sometimes when you're going through things, you just don't feel like talking to people. But eventually you have to, because, you just got to get through what you're going through. And that's just kind of what's been going on. I haven't been doing much, to be honest. These past few years have just been a culmination of one thing after another. And it's been tough mentally, and I haven't been wanting to make videos. And like I said, I've mentioned this before in prior videos. I don't want to talk about this anymore, but that's kind of where I've been. And I wish I was making a video where I was just big comeback, like new cars, all this stuff, but that's just not where I'm at in life, to be honest. Life happens sometimes, and it is what it is. It's not always fun and uplifting, and a bunch of activities going on. This is just how it is at times, and I've just been going through it. But the funeral with my dad and everything, I finally went back to Sweden, got to see my family, some friends. So, out of it being crappy, there was also good parts of that. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't really know what more to say about that, or if I really want to talk more about that. I want to get back to the swing of things, but to be honest, what I've noticed, the toughest part about doing YouTube full time is that if your mind's not right, then you at least for me, you can make videos, but I shouldn't be making videos just to putting videos up, you know, and it comes off on camera. I can see it in myself when I'm watching the videos and I'm not in the right headspace, and I can tell from the audience reaction that it comes off as well. So that's the toughest part when you're doing something like this. You know, at times I've actually thought about getting a part-time job, and like I haven't had a regular job since 2017 when I went full-time. But that's just kind of where it's been at. So I think we're gonna end the video with that. I wanted to do a little update. Like I said, I have other videos filmed that are coming after this. Car reviews and just other things as well. So, but this is an update of kind of where I've been and where I'm at in my life. And like I said, I want this to be the last time I'm making a kind of a video like this, or where I have, you know, a time period where I'm absent from the channel for a long period of time. So hopefully it changes after this. I love you guys. Thanks for sticking with me. I'm sorry that I've been gone for so long, but I'm back for now. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye.